Oh man, I really have to dispose of this. Oh, we're alive! Okay, so it's been a while. Don't mind the dead guy. Well, parts of him laying over there. So it's been a while. Today we'll be having a live look at FEROCIOUS. So yeah, there are issues, but there also is substance in the case of Gore, so we'll see it all as it goes through, and you know, it's gonna be pretty long-winded, so as some of you may know, I do have a new site where I'm having right now text reviews, and there is one I made yesterday for FEROCIOUS, a text review of the Gore side of it. I'm still kind of like testing the destruction, mainly the lack thereof, so I'll probably make a quick commentary video on the state of destruction later. But the text review for the Gore is already live now, and in this stream, aside from just seeing what's there, I do want to specifically check out one specific for that review. And that is actually the Aftermath, so one very good thing the game has going for it is that basically at the end of every fight, all of it stays. Pretty much everything, with the exception of severed limbs, it all stays. The blood, the bodies, the wounds, so that's pretty awesome. But you know, you do have pretty kind of like pretty open levels, sort of like open world-ish, in a sense. So what I wanna see is like, would they stick around after a whole bunch more fights, so I'll be checking that for sure. And as I mentioned, I will have the link for the text review in the description, and after the stream I'll also put it in the pinned comments, so you can read that and have an idea of what's there in a more quick format. And as you can see, I do have a new painting behind me of a BMW. I'm not sure if it's an M3 or an M4, I actually haven't been able to confirm that, but it was quite awesome. We've been at the Drift Festival in August, and at the beginning of the first day, they've actually had like, I think pretty much all the cars come out in the front and present them, and of course burn rubber. And among all of that burned rubber, I've seen that pretty awesome scenes, so snapped that on the phone, and it became a painting, kind of like almost a mystical BMW, so quite cool, quite cool. The links to it are in the description. As always, gotta see your comments, and we'll get right into it. So hello Eurovotes, and yeah, I have heard that if you go on hard difficulty you can actually disable the highlight stuff, but for the showcase I need the easy difficulty. Need to have my character be a little bit more resilient. And the first issue is actually, let's see if I can turn him over. I'm mentioning that in the text review as well. But there are no wounds for the takedowns, so the game does have a wounds feature. Let's see, do I have like anyone here who might... Okay, so no one's gonna be running up, so as you can see it does have a wounds feature. And I will say, like, I've praised it in the text review as well, but the wounds look not bad at all, so perhaps, you know, like the hole is a bit enlarged. Perhaps, you know, like the splatter a little bit too much. And I'm seeing now I actually have like streaks go down, and do I have like, I can't see here, so yeah, so you know, you may kind of like nitpick on the large hole, you may kind of nitpick on the splat pattern, but for the most part, really, like, I think the feedback for the wounds for a pistol, for the SMG, is quite good. Like, as you can see, they appear at the point of impact, no BS, no like weird overlay stuff. They look quite good. They don't float around. They actually stick on the character as they should. So yeah, I think the head was kind of like hiding the first wound there, but yeah, like, the functionality for the wounds mechanic here is really quite solid, so while there are some things I can nitpick, not gonna bust their balls about it too much. Dude, I have not seen floating. I have not seen floating and I've played it a bunch. Like it, I put it in the character, it stays solidly there. I shot some, they were running around, I haven't seen any floating. So let's have the first carnage. Now in the case of the blood spilling, you may or you may not have a stain appear on the surface behind the character, so you won't have stains spread on the floor. And such. Well, in the case of Dismemberment you will, but not for the initial impact. It will actually give you a showcase of the wounds not hovering, not floating. They can get stretched, and they will, like just video game stuff, but let me get those little pests. And do the showcase on the last individual. Alright, so who's my guinea pig? You are my guinea pig. Alright. See, so had the wounds been floating? A sec, do they? Ah, no, we just had like the... So I hit him in the arm. And that stained... Oh no. Wait, who threw the nade? Was it his nade? Like a nade just suddenly came flying over here and... Where from? Did he, like, throw that nade? Interesting, interesting. But as you can see, we have some trees come down. I need to actually do more testing of that, but... This is a factor we actually do have in the game. I'll still need to do more testing of the floating, just to make absolutely sure, because when I was testing I haven't seen any issues with the wounds. But there is a claim here that they exist, so only one way to find out. I really don't mind finding out. Oh, XPS sniper, the wounds are atrocious. Ah, not the wounds, fuck. The ragdolls. The ragdolls are atrocious. The ragdolls are seriously bad, like... Red Gunch, there was a misunderstanding, but I'll still showcase it. They do stay on the character, not float as we have in many Unreal Engine games, and some Unity games as well. I think I probably have to... where do I have to go? I didn't remember. I'm supposed to probably read something somewhere, I suppose. Yeah, so the ragdolls are not good. And they do play a key role in making the game feel janky. And yeah, it does very much feel janky, it does very much feel... needs a lot more time in the oven. And a big part of that is the animation responses, and yep. Do I have to go over here? Here I can actually show you that we do have wounds on the dinos. Now in the case of the crabs I haven't seen actually any wounds. Ballistic game with good gore? Well, I mean, Last of Us. If you mean like guns and such, absolutely Last of Us. How did he survive that? Lively boy. Well, he was a lively boy. So one of the issues that the game has, fortunately, is perhaps it tried to go for a little bit too much. So, you know, the initial demos they showcased like combat against the soldier guys in responsive environments, and you know, if you just basically stuck to that in like semi-openish locations, could have probably worked well, but they really went for the whole open world thing. You have like crafting for whatever reason. There is a story, there is a whole bunch of features, and so it really feels quite half-baked. And I think a key problem here is that it really went for a little bit too much at once. Especially when, to my understanding, it is primarily made by one dev. I think. It was primarily made by one dev, and there is a publisher support, but eventually don't really have a huge team behind us. That eventually led to the destruction basically being for the most part cut out, fortunately. Not happy about that one whatsoever. And the other aspects of the game just feeling half-baked. And the question is now, because it wasn't released as early access, it was released as a full release, as a full finished game. And the question is whether they will bake the stuff that we have in there. So unfortunately, destruction ain't happening. I'll make a quick video on that probably later this week, probably. But hopefully they will keep working on it to at least jank the parts that are already in. And one of those, as I mentioned, is the ragdolls. Those are not good. The ragdolls, the animation responses leave a lot to be desired, so hopefully it will get some more proper attention. Yeah, so just a few things and got it right. So yeah, Blood Trail for VR, if you have VR, absolutely. Has both the sandbox element, and yeah, I really haven't been playing it as I should be playing it. Because I don't know, I'm not a big fan of VR. Like, it's a very cool experience to do once in a while, but so every once in a while to get in, put the headset on and play like your Arnie in Terminator 1, it's fucking awesome. But to play it regularly, yeah, not a big fan. So for once, actually, when I think about it, usually, you know, like in flat screen, I prefer this kind of experience with gameplay, with AI, not just being Terminator. So in this game, I'm kind of am with easy difficulty. But you know, like on flat screen, I prefer gameplay experience, and apparently on VR, it seems like, thinking about it, I actually prefer the more sandbox stuff, and for more like medieval sandbox stuff, you have Blade and Sorcery with mods, which I covered as well. And yeah, like the highlighting of enemies and weapons is pretty atrocious, so in the game you do kind of need occasionally to like find some important item But as a regular thing, as the default thing for every character that gets heated, it looks so fucking bad. Like, you know, like, the developer has eyes, there is a publisher, there were like more people looking at it, and no one said, dude, do it and do the highlighting in literally any other way. You know, like some games offer a focus mode. I think definitely some games they covered. They kind of have like this focus mode to highlight items and things you haven't looted. Or just like a less obscene highlighting. But yeah, it's the highlighting here is pretty much the worst way they could have gone about it. Which is pretty unfortunate. Let's see if I can get him to the light to showcase the shotgun wound. Go into the light. Well, he's in the light now, but when it's invisible view. So basically, in the case of a shotgun wound, you had the kind of smaller ones for pistols and SMGs, and I believe rifles too. For the shotgun, it's gonna be increased. Here it's actually stretched, but for the shotgun, the wound's gonna be, for the most part, just increased. Need someone in a good lighting position to show you that. And so as you can see, we have a whole bunch of small wounds on the character guy. I hit him with the shotgun, because there is no post-mortal dismemberment. You basically have that small wound. But it's gonna be enlarged. Alright, so to Aaron's question, do I recommend the game now? No. Not at all, unfortunately. As I mentioned in the stream, it feels half-baked. Now the gore part actually does have some very cool things going for it. One of them is the wounds functionality. Like seriously, like this looks pretty damn good. But overall it feels really half-baked. And the animation responses leave a lot to be desired. Blood spilling to a degree too. But yeah, but hopefully it won't be abandoned, and hopefully they'll keep working on it, and hopefully they will jank it. As I mentioned, there won't be destruction, the stuff we saw, unless it comes like much later on. The stuff we saw in the previews, which I've covered on the channel, ain't gonna be happening. But for the very least, the experience of the combat, of the exploration, of everything else can be less janky. And hopefully it will be. I think it opens a gateway there, but can't be arsed to go there. We're here, all about the gore. Actually, the game primarily feels half-baked. Like, as I mentioned before, they just took too much of a scope. They wanted to get too much, and they weren't able to deliver within the time frame for this release, which is unfortunate. And on a personal level, I'm bummed about the lack of destruction, which was a pretty big draw for me personally. Yeah, no, I'll pass on going there. So Aaron, I don't really know all that much about Gore and stuff. Like, I've learned some things over the years. A lot from my audience, actually, from the comments. But really what kind of like built my view on this is Soldier of Fortune. Because at the time it was pretty much the only game to get every single aspect right. Wounds on the body, blood spilling for the hits, blood pools on their characters. Very nice and fairly lengthy animations, and it really got it all together, and once you see that, there is no going back. So you can primarily thank Soldier of Fortune for that. I do actually have to show you the Dismemberment. It's actually not incorrect, but I was fixing computers in the military, so nothing remotely exciting in any way. I was basically the IT guy, so yeah. That's what I was doing there. Oh yeah, I was supposed to search at Outpost. Fuck. Fuck it, I'm just gonna blast stuff, test stuff. So in the case of the heads, might be able to see it right now. Good. Get into a visible position, please. Come on. So there are actually a whole bunch of head variations, I think. What's this one? What's this one? Can't really see. Come on. Yeah, I guess you can see the ragdolls. You can kind of see now that the ragdolls being pretty weird. These bodies aren't big fans of me torturing him for you. So I think if I kind of bring him down, should be able to have a look down there and test for you. Showcase. But yeah, but as I mentioned in the beginning of this, one of the things they very much have going for it, which is to their great credit, alongside the wounds, is the fact that the mass, for the most part, will stay. As I mentioned, the only thing I've seen vanish is just severed limbs and such. Other than that, every single bloodstain, body, wound will remain. So big props on that, because you guys know the channel, most games don't get this stuff done. Isn't configurable. Mass vanishes because fuck you, that's why, basically. So when a game gets that right, you do have to admire it. And especially now, like, where, you know, it isn't like characters just kind of like ragdoll with a clean body. No blood spilling. Yeah, there is blood spilling. It is a little bit flawed, but the blood spilling is there. You do have blood pools, you do have, once again, very nice wounds. I do very much like the wound functionality here. Can kind of like see, oh yeah, I can actually see it quite clearly. Get that thing out of my face. And I can't even make it vanish. Alright, so I have to drop the pistol. Now I can, okay, now I can, so... As I mentioned, I think in the case of shotgun impacts, you basically have the same wound you have for the pistols, and the rifles and SMGs, it's just enlarged. And often when it gets enlarged, it gets a little bit goofy, as you can see here, like it does get a little bit goofy, but not gonna bust their balls about that too much, but the one issue that I am gonna bust their balls about is if you blast the character from distance with a shotgun. Let's see if I'll be able to showcase that clearly. Of course not. So basically, if you blast the character with a shotgun from a distance, you're gonna get a whole bunch of those... basically, the pellets are gonna be causing those hugest wounds the size of this. And once again, like, I'm seeing decent, you know, there is substance here. It doesn't suck in terms of gore, okay? It absolutely doesn't. Some aspects do very much leave a lot to be desired. Blood spitting has some issues. The animations, yeah, like, the animations are the weakest one by far. But, like, I'm playing this, I'm looking at this, and, you know, like, perhaps the dev is even a viewer of the channel. Who knows? But we do have some issues. Can't see it quite as clearly here, but you actually kind of can now. But these stamps for removed limbs, and if the head gets entirely removed, kind of looks like a bloody sheath. You know, like someone harvested a bunch of grain, but very, very red grain, and put it together. So that's kind of weird. And I have seen at the moment just one instance of the shotgun activating a the cut in half variation from close range, which also is an issue. As you can see, this guy I was torturing like a while back, he's still here. He still has every single wound I caused, and I'm trying to turn him over to show you the head variation. Anyway, I can't see the blood thing. Kind of looks like it was probably cut off at the jaw level. I think that's what happened with the head variation. You know, like this one looks, at least from this angle, pretty nice, yeah? I think it leads to nowhere as far as I recall. Yeah, and I haven't searched the previous outpost, so I can't really have a clear indication of where exactly to go, but I'll just roam around, gore people up. So some aspects are quite janky here, quite janky. And hopefully this leads to more enemies. It probably should. Actually I haven't been here when I was playing. I will say you aren't forced to fight them. They do seem to be a bit bullet spongy. I haven't... There's actually a boss fight with a very large sized crab. But the cool thing is you kind of like, you have to loot a body and you can just loot it and get away. Actually I haven't been here. That's cool, that's cool. I won't even be surprised if the guts we're seeing here are the guts you see on the dead human characters for the cut in half variation. Very well, maybe. It could be. You know, like, why bother making a whale guts model when you can just, like, place the human one, and who knows the bloody difference. I don't think I've been here. What the fuck am I? I definitely haven't gone here when I was playing. Oh, I want these enemies to go up, really. That's the only thing I want here right now. So if I recall correctly, alright, so let's actually see if the first guys I killed here, do they still have all of their body damage and stuff, so we've got a whole bunch here, so alright, so this blood pool is still very much here, not seeing any characters. Alright, so seemingly they would spawn. The trees are actually here, so the trees that were taken down are actually still very much here. Alright, so that does kind of answer the question I had. So eventually, when you move forward, the bodies will disappear. Yeah, like it isn't a coincidence, they weren't just like sent flying by nades and such, but... So, when you move forward, far away, you will have the bodies despawn. But the blood appears to stay, actually, so yeah, like the blood pools, the blood stains. Alright, so do I have that tested? Okay, good to know. I actually even have... Did I like not kill him or something, or...? No sheath arm stamp, it seems. If I can perhaps showcase, so if you hit him from far, I didn't leave any wounds. Yeah, usually there are no issues with activating wounds, but but this one seems there were. So, as I was mentioning, if you shoot him from afar, you have that huge ass decal activate on the character. Not too bad with for a shot from close up, but from far away, for a pellet, to have it like be the size of a tennis ball, that is an issue. James, yeah, like, as I mentioned, I cannot recommend it in any way at the moment, but it feels half-baked, so, you know, it isn't like, it doesn't feel broken at the core, it feels half-baked, like they went for too big of a scope for what they could realistically deliver, and they released perhaps too early. Well, released definitely too early. Anyway, since I'm here, might as well check out the thing I have to check out and maybe have an idea of where I'm supposed to be going. Yeah, I do think it is possible to fix it up, so I will say, as I was saying, I'm really bummed about the direction it went with all of the crafting stuff and the big focus on exploration, which came at the expense of the destruction. No, it was definitely dropped at some point. And you only have some remnants of it remain. I'm bummed about that. But for what it's doing, it is definitely fixable, yeah. It is not broken at the core. Here we go, yeah, I was supposed to be here. Alright, so yeah, now I gotta move up now. I'll have an idea of where to go. Yeah, I will say, Cookie, like, the thing I am itching for is like a game to scratch that Crisis itch. And you know, like, Tropic Island is a very lovely setting for that. And no game does it yet, no game. I was hoping for this one, you know, like I was seeing the early previews. I was seeing the destruction, I was seeing the Gore stuff, which, as I was saying, like, it has issues, but in the case of Gore, I'm actually not terribly disappointed. Like, there is substance here. But once again, really bummed about the destruction part being essentially left out. The game now focusing on explorations and stuff, which is fair, but I wanna blow shit up, you know. There was some gate I opened. Could be this one, yeah, it's this one. Alright. We'll see where I have to go from there. Show a few more of the sheaf stamps. Yeah, so it seems like the bodies vanish based on based on distance. I've gone away and they vanish. So as far as I'm concerned, not an issue whatsoever. In every encounter I had, as long as I am around, the bodies are still there. When you go away, they vanish. Let them, basically. So I'm supposed to like find something here somewhere. Yeah, so for games, destruction games, do check out the video of upcoming destruction games, because there were a whole bunch. There actually were a whole bunch of pretty interesting ones in a variety of genres. That's kind of awesome. But I think like none of them has came out yet, so I have like a big list of those, so do check it out. There is a game called Status Entropos, which I interviewed the devs of. Destruction is very much a focus there, so that's one I'm particularly curious about, because I do hope they'll be able to deliver what they have in mind. They seem to be pretty seriously set on making it happen, so hopefully they will be successful. I'm supposed to find something. Where, blades, where? this. Okay, okay. Now we can move up. Hopefully I have whatever key I need for this. We'll see. And hopefully there will be some stray soldiers just, you know, finding their way and getting shot. You know what would be actually quite, really, genuinely wanna see? A game where you can gore up the dinos in a detailed manner, so, you know, like a massively detailed multiplayer damage for dinos. Because, you know, like if what you have is decals, okay, that's better than nothing. Not him, oh yeah, so... I mean, not him, yeah, so he's a small guy, whatever. But like, the really massive dinos, kind of like the boss fight tier creatures. Seeing multiplayer stuff for them. Now that would actually get me quite excited. And yeah, like just the whole aspect of perhaps, hopefully, one day, hopefully we will live to see it, is you know, kind of like Dead Island style, obscenely detailed multiplayer damage used for boss characters. And even Dead Island 2 doesn't have it. You have this Gore system, but talked about it in the review. Your hits basically make barely any damage, and as his health drops, it just makes more dramatic damage, but you don't really feel like you are tearing him apart. So as I'm saying, really hoping to see a dino game, really any game where the boss fights are actually massively and obscenely detailed. So can it open now? Can it open now? Yes, okay. Here we go, here we go. Alright, so we should have a bunch of enemies there. Okay, that's good. Let's get them all inside and cause as much gore as I can. Alright, yeah, here we go. So this arm is gonna be the only thing to vanish as long as I'm around. And if you can kind of like come here and I can blow it up, please, please someone, come on. Come on, I don't want to showcase like the cut in half and the obliterations in the stream. They're trying to primarily obliterate me, it seems. Which is fair enough. Okay, so we do have a head variation over there, that's good. Please come here. Like, here's the thing, like, is it destructible? Yeah, it is, okay, it is. And here we have the obliteration, so the mess was actually sent flying quite far away. But we'll discuss that as well. And by the way, as I mentioned, so on just regular non-dismembering impacts, the blood spinning is not gonna be consistent, but in the case of dismemberment, there will very much be additional stains. So as you can see, like, I shot him here, and no stain, yeah, like, nowhere. But this guy blew his head off. About a half his head off. We had some staining. How about you? What's your state? Yeah, blew half his head off. Actually, I want to showcase the... do wanna show you something real quick. Where is he? Ah, okay. Alright guys, so actually first I'm actually having wound activation issues, so as you can see I shot him from far away and we have nothing on the body. It seems okay. Perhaps first issue with the wounds activation. Okay, it seems that some obliteration beats have disappeared. Could be even all of them. So yes, so what seems to vanish is actually the body parts, and apparently that holds true for obliteration beats as well. Oh, here we have, well, you can't really see it here all too well, but we do have the unfazed variation. Kind of like definitely very inspired by Ready or Not. I haven't seen too many variations like that, and there was like a, as far as I recall, there was a partial unfazed in Verdun, and we have this full unfazed in Ready or Not, and here as well. And once again, like the grain sheath stumps, pointy bits, very pointy bits. As I was saying, some of the heads do very much look nice, but the stamps are not all that great, and well, actually, this kind of looks, I will say, get that fucking fashion thing away. Like, this looks nasty, guys, like, as you can see. This looks nasty. Almost looks like a, some multi-layer damage. Look at that, look at that. Not even sure for what, but... it seriously looks pretty damn good. Oh, I think I just I haven't seen this specific variation, so it looks like, yeah, like his face is intact, but his brain was entirely cleared out. So yeah, so as I was saying, perhaps the best thing when it comes to response on the receiving end is the wounds functionality, because for the most part, to deliver just quite very solid feedback. And at times it can kind of like, I have seen like those impacts almost look like a variation ahead. I had an impact hit the face and it looked like there was a variation on the face. And it was just a decal, you know, and so I think this aspect is quite good in this game. And hello, realize log. Let's see what other variations I have here. Oh yeah, I have his head missing. How about you, buddy? What's your story? Can't tell. Can't quite tell. So as I was saying, like, it is a tad excessive, but really not too bad, not too bad. But as I was saying, we had obliteration here, and I wasn't able to showcase you the body parts of it, so basically, you know, in many games where you have psychic obliteration, just gives the character into just generic red chunks, not even too many of them. Even less mess than this, and you know, this isn't a great deal of mess. Like, for making an entire character vanish, it should be messier, just much messier. But the gibs are basically, you do have some generic red meat chunks, but the gibs are actually kind of like buried skeleton, which isn't amazing, but I'll take buried skeleton, like buried bones, buried skull, chunks and stuff, over the generic red stuff any day. So not the finest obliteration, but definitely one that exceeds probably even most games that have this feature. So you know, it primarily means that obliterations suck in most games, which they do. Ah yeah, so here we have actually some those like preset pieces. Yeah, those could be like, I think those could be actually preset pieces, but you will have like chunks kind of very similar to this. The arm bones, the chest bones. Yeah, I'm pretty certain those are just preset. Because the obliteration mess does very much vanish. Oh, hello. I think he wants to be my last victim for today. And actually, what's that? Yo, that's cool. So I actually haven't seen that. So it seems like, I don't know, like sometimes for hits from a close range, you get just a regular, cleanly cut off arm, but this thing is mangled. Look at that, it's fucking mangled. So yeah, so as I was saying, for regular on dismembering hit, there are gonna be issues with activation of the blood spatter. In the case of dismembering hits, you may actually even have a full trail from where you shot him to where he fell. And as you can kind of like see over here, the blood on him is a tad excessive, so that's a bit of an issue the game has, but it usually isn't as bad as this. As you can see, he isn't entirely covered in blood, you know. But yeah, actually I haven't seen like this variation for the severed arm yet. It's kinda cool. Could it be like a preset piece? I'm not sure, I'm not sure. Could be just a happy accident actually, so because items usually vanish. As I mentioned, it could be a preset piece, actually. Alright, so anyway, in conclusion, so as I mentioned in the beginning, you can read my opinion on this in a more quick format. I do have a review on the site. There is a site. There are text reviews there. It isn't the only one, so do check it out. I'll have it linked in the description, and I'll pin it in the pinned comment as well. So in terms of gore, there is substance here, absolutely. There are issues, so there are some oddities with the body damage. As I mentioned, the stamps for Dismemberment aren't the finest. Activation will have some issues, but for the most part the body damage is not bad at all, I gotta say, but blood spitting looks not bad at all, but has some activation issues that do leave, once again, things to be desired. But the mess will stay as long as you're around, as long as you're in the area. As you can see, like, I was here for quite a while. I was showcasing, testing stuff, and every single one of them remained. Every single bloodstain, I remember this. This one here. Every single body, wound, bloodstain, as long as you're in the area, it's gonna remain, and that is very important. But the weakest link here is actually the animations, so the animations, yeah, like, there are big issues over there. And it's kind of a big part of making the combat feel janky, fortunately, so hopefully this project won't be abandoned. Hopefully they'll keep working on it, and for the very least, you know, I'm not expecting any huge improvements for the blood spitting and such. But for the very least, I believe that the animations aspect is gonna be improved. For the very least, the ragdolls, they have to be improved. So that is it. That's gonna be it for me today. I'll see y'all next week, and I actually have like a whole bunch of games I need to stream. Took a break for a little bit too long, so a bunch of new projects came out. So I'll see y'all next week.